Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of LEG TV Week 9. I'm your host, John David Brake, the commissioner. As you can see, I'm coming live from my bedroom here as sleep is a premium right now. Look at all these diapers over here. Anyways, some big things happened last week. Let's go to the scoreboard. We had some huge victories and very big ramifications for the playoff seeding that we're going to get to and we're going to talk about. Last week, look at this big win. Party Like a Gronk Star, now 7-1, beating third place Lamb of Godwin. That was a huge victory, as Abby really needed that to stay in the top two spots. He falls. New World of Creaky continues to slide, even though they scored 195 points, 213 from 2020. Murdoch gets the win. What a huge game. Huge game by Devontae Adams. Dalvin Cook, my goodness. Also, Clock Gobblers got the win against the Indy Snatch Pounders. Called it. Dax Street Boys beat Worms Are Their Money. Mish called it. First Down Syndrome gets the win over Modelo Virus. Called that one too last week, if you recall. Of course, that was a no-brainer there. Servos 175 to 123 over Jable. And Mick gets the win in the Mick Nick Bowl, possibly, according to Mick last episode, thinking this will be the Hoffa preview. So there you go. And let's also take a quick look at the standings, because right now it's week 9 and positioning matters. You got to get to the top 6, and usually the magic number in this league is 7. If you get 7 wins, you're pretty much a lock to get in. So let's take a look at the current standings. They're at the top. Number 1 team in the league, have been for most of the season, 7-1, Party Like a Gronk Star. 1459 points total too. Leads the league in points scored and leads the league in least scored on. A very, very lethal combo. They're in the 2 spot. Jason Servo still there at 2. He's on a 2-win streak. Abalash Reddy, even though with the loss, is still in 3rd place at 5-3. There's John Dahlgren sneaking up the rankings there at number 4. Then you got Dax Street Boys, Worms With Their Money, opposite Adam Gaze and Indy Snatch Pounders with 4-4 records there. Now in the top, or in the bottom 4 there, 2020 Modelo Virus still in it, still have a chance to take that final playoff spot. And even though Nick and Plow sit at 2-6, like I said, if they run off and win 4 games in a row and get to at least 6-7 or 7-6, they have a chance. They really do. All you have to do is get the 7 wins. So a lot of things are way too close to call. So given the political environment, I am bringing in a political expert on having close calls in the field of competition. So please welcome my guest for this week. What is going on?
I am in an office with like 25,000 computers right now, so I don't know how to turn all these off. All right, we're good. Like everything. I'm in the war room, man.
You wouldn't happen to have Hunter Biden's laptop in there, would you?
Oh, you don't want to see it.
Ugh, no, I've heard enough. So, Mr. Abalash Reddy, I wanted to bring you on to talk about these close races here as the playoff seeding begins. And I want to start with the first game. Is that going to keep chiming the entire time?
Yeah, I'm getting election updates, man. I'm getting all kinds of updates.
I don't want to talk about it.
It seems to be a COVID outbreak in San Francisco. You got that going for you. Aren't you a Niner fan?
I am. That whole team is decimated already. Nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't be anything worse.
Turns out Jimmy Handsome couldn't smile his way out of
poor Jimmy, handsome Jimmy G. All right, Abby, we're going to do the rundown here for the matchups. We're looking at the first matchup. I am 7-1, still atop the league, and this could essentially be a bye week for me. Taking on Mick Barton, 4-4, opposite of Adam Gaze. Is this a possible trap game? Could Mick flip this victory in his favor?
Listen, I don't think Mick's flipping anything. Have you seen that kid? If he tried to flip, old Isaac Newton probably slam on down on him. Let's look at Mick's roster here. He's got Drew Brees, who I remember seeing on campus when I was in college. That was a long time ago. Keenan Allen, that's a good pickup. McCole Hardman. Boston Scott, who's not playing, but is in the lineup. Boston Scott, who I'm pretty sure is the bassist for Dropkick Murphys. His tight end is empty. I don't know much about empty.
George Kittle was his tight end, and now it is an empty slot.
Yeah.
But he picked up Eric Ebron.
Right.
He picked up Eric Ebron, so he's going to be filling that. Do you think, does Eric Ebron, I mean, he's had some pretty good games. Is he a viable tight end 1, or do you still think he's a boomer bust tight end 2/3?
No, Mick's not going to do this. Much like everything else Mick does, there's like a sliver of hope and then a lot of disappointment. So,
so you're taking who you're taking this week?
I think you're gonna beat Mick. I think Mick's in for. I mean, it's been 38 years of disappointment for the kid. Why is it going to change now?
I agree. I will also take me this week. Speaking of disappointment, Ablash Reddy, let's talk about your opponent this week, yeah? Mr. David Plow at 2-6, sitting at the bottom of the league with Mr. Nick Shook.
Yeah, that's about 2 bottoms.
Those are 2 bottoms.
Yeah.
Now, you at 5-2, is this an easy win for you, or do you think Plow has a chance to upset, or will you kill him?
The thing about Plow team is like on paper, it looks pretty good,
right?
And it's like Plow. Like when you hear about Plow, you think that sounds like an alright cat. And then you kind of meet him, and you're like really disappointed by everything he brings to the table. Like just nothing acceptable about him. Always disappointing. It's his team's that way. Because on paper, you're like Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and DK Metcalf is basically the Incredible Hulk. You're like, his running backs are kind of weak. Darren Waller's a great tight end. He hasn't filled out his flex yet, but I figure he'll put somebody in there. I don't know.
So I kind of have an idea of which way you're leaning. So there's no way you think he's going to come back.
How figures out a way to fuck up everything. There's no reason he won't keep that streak alive either. So yeah, I'll take me. Is it cocky? No, it's just confidence. I mean, yeah, I'll beat Plow.
Yeah, I feel like I've picked Plow to win 3 or 4 times, and it never comes true. He's probably been the most disappointing team. I do like the fact that the 2 bottom teams were 2 guys that canceled last minute on the draft. They are getting what they deserve. I am also taking.
Just remember, I got my brother draft with him. He gave him a spreadsheet. My brother said this spreadsheet's terrible and tried to improve on it. So imagine if Plow was there, how bad this team would be.
I know.
Like so, this is the improvement squad and what Plow had planned.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking you as well. Quick question before we move to the next one, Abby. What do you feel your chances are to be the first ever 3-time or 4-time championship appearance? Or tying, you tie Dan Nickel for most championship appearance. Are you going to show up for 4th time in a row, which would be a record?
There's some questions. Amari Cooper needs somebody to throw him the ball. I don't know who the Cowboys quarterback is.
I think it's Jerry Jones, isn't it? He's sitting up.
Might be. Roger Staubach. I don't know what he's doing. Might be him. Troy Aikman looks pretty healthy. Well, no, his brain's mush. So I don't know what Amari Cooper's deal is. He's currently not going to be in my lineup until the Cowboys figure that out, which is unfortunate. Hopkins is doing DeAndre Hopkins things. I got the babyface assassin, Justin Herbert, picking up the slack after I lost Dak, which is unfortunate because Dak was playing for all that bag.
Yeah.
One-man wrecking crew for the first 5 or 6 weeks. My team does have a bit of a boomer bust kind of potential. Like sometimes they roll, disappoint a little, and occasionally they'll go big. My running backs, Mixon, hasn't done much. been a little hurt, banged up, but
Been hurt lately.
Joey Burrow's playing well, so that gives me some hope that when he gets back, it'll alleviate some pressure. So we'll see if I can get healthy.
Okay,
We'll
good.
get healthy by the playoffs and then cause some trouble.
We'll check in on that. Speaking of playoffs, this is a very, very important matchup. It's John Dahlgren, who's at 4-4, taking on Joe Murdoch, who got the win last week. Finally, things came together for him. He's still at 3-5. Is this a must-win for Joe Murdoch against Dahlgren? And is it a must-win for Dahlgren?
Is it a must-win? I mean, sure. I don't.
Great analysis.
To be honest, I haven't thought about Dahlgren ever. I refuse to start thinking about him now. His team looks all right. I don't care about him. I don't want to think about him. I'll pick Joe,
Yeah, you're picking Joe?
Because just picking Dahlgren, it's a moral thing, really.
Well, again, I mean, Joe has by far the best running back crew, especially with Dalvin Cook, who just went off last week.
Yeah, they're playing the Lions, who have that Mick Barton clone at coach. Kind of looks a lot like Mick, except that guy apparently has like a degree in rocket science. And Mick has a degree in double stuffed Oreos or something.
So you're taking Joe this week?
I'm taking Joe just because I don't know. I don't want to think about Dahlgren. I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I think this is a must-win for Dahlgren because he's got a tough schedule coming up, and not only that, John Dahlgren is the most scored-on team in the league, and I think that's going to happen again. I think Joe's going to have a huge game because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers loves playing with a chip on his shoulder. This whole season is a revenge tour, and he's going up against the team that should have drafted him number 1, and he said he would make them pay for the rest of his career, and he's done that. He goes up against the 49ers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 4 tutties on that defense that's been crippled by injuries and COVID and everything else.
Remember when he was dating Danica Patrick? A couple.
That's gross. Just Aaron Rodgers is a gross person. That's why his family hates him.
That's a weird dude.
He's a weird dude. So you're taking Joe. I'm taking Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's a really big game. 2 4-4 teams. The defending champ, Austin Stoll at 4-4, taking on David McCready at 4-4. This one's too close to call for me, Avi. Looking at these teams, who do you think is going to pull away and get above 500 and stay in the playoff hunt?
I think Austin, right? I mean, first of all, McCready hasn't set his lineup yet.
Yes, that's true. And you know what, Austin with Deshaun Watson coming back, he's got a great wide receiver combo in Stephon Diggs and Robbie Anderson.
McCready have a kid due? When's his baby due? Isn't that coming up soon?
Yeah, sometime this month.
Oh, baby girl as well.
Baby girl, that's right.
Two of you having some sort of contest to see like who can be the shittiest girl dad? Like, what is this? Like, what's going on here?
Man, some dynamite analysis here for fantasy football.
Just asking. What's going on?
So looking at the roster, are you who do you think wins this one?
Man.
For the matchup.
So Deshaun Watson's playing the Jags. The Jags are terrible. But Houston, I don't know who their coach is. I guess it's Romeo Crennel, so that's basically the coach. Watson's receivers are the ghost of Will Fuller, and then I think I'm maybe the slot receiver this week, so that's interesting.
Will Fuller, who's been rumored to be on the trade block.
I like his receivers. I like Diggs. Robbie Anderson is a secret, he catches everything.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Gurley looks pretty good this year. Josh Jacobs was all right. And, Chase Claypool has been a weapon. So I'm going to go with the Dak Street boys. I'm going to go with Austin. It's been a rough year as a Cowboys fan.
Yes, it has.
Going from Dak Prescott to Andy Dalton, who got decapitated.
And now he has COVID.
Now has COVID and is a ginger, and not like one of those like kind of Auburnish gingers you can get by with.
Full blown ginger.
Like Prince Harry ginger, I'm actually more ginger than Prince Harry.
Prince Harry ginger, I like that.
Yeah, he's gonna have like a fucking castle and a kingdom like Prince Harry. At least Prince Harry had that. Because let's be honest, Prince Harry's not getting Meghan Markle if he wasn't like. That island, that's my island, that going for him. What does Andy Dalton have?
Yes. I'm also taking Austin this week. I think this is going to be a lot closer than you think, though. Darius Slayton to start to emerge. He's also got the other Panthers wide receiver, DJ Moore.
Darius Slayton's been emerging for like the last decade.
Yeah. I don't think so. Well, let's...
This does seem like they're sort of like Matt Ryan, like garbage game, though. Scores like 5 touchdowns just because it's the Broncos and nobody gives a shit about the Falcons.
Well, hey, we've got the matchup of the week, and go look at the projected score because it is literally a .03 differential on the projected points. I'm talking about second place, Jason Servos, first down syndrome. Versus Worms Are Their Money at 4-4. Alan Nesson, who's clinging to that 6th spot. Now, Jason has been solid all year. He's been nipping at my heels this entire season, as have you been. You have been. Is this a potential upset for Mr. Servos? Can Alan Nesson pull off the upset and cause some ruckus here at the top of the stage?
Upset when they're like basically 50-50 to win. One of those odds versus probability conversations we're not going to have. So Nesson says here projected 175.44, which last time Nesson was at 175 was about 2nd grade, I think. Servos, first down syndrome. Nothing problematic about that, mate.
Nope. I see you did your homework on these matchups too.
Not
on the fly at all.
No, I am looking right at him. I like he's got is it Keith Murray? Who's this guy? Who's this Murray? Oh, Kyler Murray.
Who's this Keith Murray?
Didn't that guy play like third base for the Mets? Who's that guy? I think so. I'm going to give the edge to Servos. A couple of reasons. One, he went to Purdue. Excellence. I like Murray. I think Murray's going to light up. I think I know the Dolphins had a good game last week. I think Jared Goff kind of helped them out. I think Murray's going to light them up. Allen Robinson. I mean, if Allen Robinson isn't coming through this week for Jason, I don't know when.
Allen Robinson, you ready? We're going to pull up the Allen Robinson tracker. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
We're doing this. Okay. So for 8 games, he has scored 136 points and is now back up in the top 10. He is now the 9th overall wide receiver. So there you have it. Allen Robinson.
Tennessee's defense isn't that great. So I think Robinson, and if the Bears do excel in garbage time, so this is one of those. And the Titans haven't played that well the last couple of weeks, so it feels like one of those games where we're just going to go back and forth in a high-scoring kind of trash game.
Right.
So I can see Robinson getting some garbage points, like towards the end, where they just kind of start chucking the ball a little bit. I like Jonnu Smith as well, so I think that's a good game and a good matchup.
That was a good pickup at tight end. I mean, like I said, tight end is such a tough position. There's such a huge gap between Tier 1 and Tier 2 and even Tier 3.
So I'm going to give the edge to Will Service, even though I do like Ness's defense this week. I think like Ness's defense can keep him in it. But you know what? I'm going with Servos. And
here's the first disagreement we have, Abby. I am picking Alan Nesson for the upset, and here's why. Julio Jones is playing to get an audition for another team. I think he's going to have a huge game against the Broncos. CEH, Carlos Edwards-Helaire against the Panthers is going to run wild.
His name is Clown.
What? Clyde. Sorry, I call him Carlos.
It's a little weird that there's a guy like under the age of 70 named Clyde.
Clyde, yes. And if Nesson substitutes Leonard Fournette out of his starting lineup, I think he wins this
Now,
game.
I recall a video from a couple of weeks ago where someone had this conversation, and then I think Leonard Fournette put up about 55 points.
Well, he's hoping that. Yahoo's projecting him to score 14 points. I don't see that getting anywhere near 7.
Listen, all I'm saying is you're relying on Nesson, so good luck. He'll never let you down.
I need him to beat Jason, but I think he will. Okay, and now to my favorite, the Stud World Game of the Week. 2 teams at the very bottom of the barrel. Last place, Nick Shook, Sons of Shane Falco at 2-6, taking on the rookie this year, Modelo Virus, who looked like he was going to put together a win streak, and now he's back down to the bottom there, Jable Soul at 3-5. Avi, not only give me a prediction of who wins, but is this the potential Hoffa Bowl preview?
Certainly for Shook, somehow he's projected to score 119 points, and he's got an entire roster basically in, other than, I guess, a couple of linebackers, but not very good linebackers, so I don't expect anything. No, Nick is pretty bad. Just terrible.
He is the lowest scoring team in the league. Has the fewest points scored in the entire league. So that does not bode well in fantasy football.
It's a good thing the Buckeyes are good, I guess, because this team's terrible. So he's got Lamar Jackson,
Calvin Ridley.
And while I think the Ravens are definitely going to be in it against the Colts, and the Colts may even be a potential home dog in that game, I think the defense can definitely keep Lamar in check. The Colts defense has been more or less pretty good. And it's this type of game, Lamar is the type of quarterback the Colts defense is actually geared towards handling. We struggle when we have quarterbacks who can kind of go deep on us, because I don't think our back end is as great.
Yeah.
But Lamar, our front seven's good, so I think that's going to be a problem for Lamar. Calvin Ridley's injured, or he's been hurt this week. I don't know who his other receiver is going to be, but I'm sure he'll figure that out. His running back, Adrian Peterson, that guy was great, 12 years ago.
Well, I think he's going to put McLaurin there to substitute for Cooper Kupp.
I mean, listen, Nick, I know you just bought a new house, so I guess you're getting a new decoration for it. Let me tell you something about Mr. Hoffa. He's a felon.
Yes.
He's a sex offender. He might not be convicted, but he's definitely offended the opposite sex. In all the ways one can offend the opposite sex.
In all 5 senses.
In all 5 senses.
He even tastes bad.
Oh yeah. He tastes like Kool-Aid and 10 High whiskey or Dark Eyes or vodka or whatever you get at the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jable. I think Drew Lock. Atlanta's defense isn't good, so Drew Lock will get some points. Tyler Lockett's playing really well. Justin Jefferson's, looking like he's going to be a number 1 receiver at some point.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon he's all right. He's splitting carries with Phil Lindsay, but whatever. His running backs aren't great, but Rob Gronkowski's looking like Rob Gronkowski again. So
he is. So you're taking Jable?
Yeah, it'd be a low-scoring affair. I wouldn't bother watching this game.
No.
No.
I am also.
It's a potential Hoffa. It's a potential Hoffa Bowl. I really like. Plow is just terrible. And there's no excuse for Plow. He's been playing fantasy football since Red Grange and Sammy Ball were playing.
It's true.
Leather helmets. Henry Ford hated the Jews back then. Plow was.
Well, let's not get too far into the weeds here. I am also taking Jable to win. So your Hoffa Bowl prediction. Let's get 2 predictions from you. Your Hoffa Bowl prediction
my Hoffa Bowl, Nick is the prohibitive favorite. I think he just broke 1,000 points last week. So Nick's the hot favorite there. I really like Plow to make a second half run at it. Somehow, despite having Pat Mahomes, which you would think would just be guaranteed to at least be a floor to keep you right around 500. Not even that. I think Jable will avoid the Hoffa, which is all you want as your first year. You still want to do the Hoffa.
Don't get the
And
Hoffa.
as far as the playoffs, obviously, you, me, Servos seem to be doing all right. Dahlgren's got a high-scoring team. His record doesn't reflect it, but he'll be right in there.
And, the magic number in this league is to get 7. If you can get 7 wins, you're pretty much a lock in the playoffs. Abby, I have a fun fact for you before we go. There are 2 teams in this league to only win 7 games and win the LEG championship. Can you name 2 of them?
I know I'm one of them.
Yes, you are. Correct.
I know I had that one year where I got hot, and I think I got healthy too.
Yeah.
I don't know who the second one is.
Michael Griffin.
Of course. Well, I look forward to making another playoff run and adding my name to such illustrious winners like Griff, Jack Molidor, Melissa Tu. What other class acts do we have on that?
Well, that's all the time we have today. I want to thank my political expert analyst, Mr. Abhilash Reddy, former champion, 2-time champion, for coming on here. I appreciate it, Abhi. Any big prediction for the presidential election?
I really, I hope we have one. That would be cool. I mean, somehow we're about to replace a really old one with an even older one. That's an interesting thing that just happened. Listen, one thing I would like to say is let's not make any Joe Biden baby boomer jokes. He's actually older than a baby boomer. I found that out. Baby boomers are people like born after World War II, and I think he was born during World War II, which would make him of the silent generation. Another interesting Joe Biden fact. I think I think we're fine. Yeah, no.
How a potted plant got that many votes, I'll never know.
Listen, we're doing great as a country, guys. We are doing great. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. Hey, 2024 election. If you guys want to just go to another country, that'd be cool too. Listen, we can get an island, populate it with. I don't know. What would be fun to hunt? I saw a map of what states you can own a kangaroo without a license. I think that's what we do is we just buy an island, get a bunch of kangaroos. Have you seen kangaroos fight? And that's what we do for the next election. So we just watch kangaroos fight.